Right, pro wrestling has finally returned to the spotlight and reviewing station for wicked cool toys slash jazzwares, all elite wrestling line of action figures, and this is our very first figure we're going to be taking a look at, and it's a Ringside Collectibles exclusive, a little bit of the bubbly Chris Jericho. But before we take a look at the action figure, we'll go ahead and take a look at the packaging here. And it is what you would come to expect. If you watch All Elite Wrestling, you know that Chris Jericho promotes his very own bottles of champagne under a little bit of the bubbly banner. So you've got the picture of Jericho here, and it says a little bit of the bubbly, which is pretty cool. And at the top here, the wrapping around the cork says All Elite Wrestling, which is a nice touch in this gold foil, which is very reflective. We got little spots of gold here on the slick cover where it says ages 8 and plus. Down here it says the contents is 11 pieces. It may be hard to see, so I'm just pointing it out with my thumb here. On this side of the packaging, we've got All Elite Wrestling in that nice shiny foil reflective, as you can see. Right here it says number 9 of Series 1, which means that this is in fact a part of the Unrivaled collection, which we will be looking at very shortly, not that far away. And on this side here it says All Elite Wrestling again. Nothing here or there. On the bottom we got barcodes and all that. It's got wicked cool toys right there. On this side of the packaging, which is the back, we've got a signature autograph from Le Champion himself, Chris Jericho. There's Chris Jericho for the image that they're using for the back of the packaging, where he is holding the World Championship. There's Ringside Collectibles exclusive, WrestlingFigures.com, All Elite Wrestling, and that's about going to do it for the packaging. There's not really anything to show off inside. It is what it is. It pretty much just has plastic trays for the figure and the other contents that he comes with here, which is everything out of the packaging straight up. So let's go ahead and take a look at Chris Jericho to start things off here. And this is the attire that he wore when he was celebrating his victory night against Hangman Adam Page in battle for the World Championship, which is on that table, and we'll take a look at it in just a moment. Take a look at some of those printed on tattoos here, which are sometimes hit or miss with wrestling figures, but I think Wicked Cool Toys, for their first launch in this line, did a pretty good job. Everything seems to be here from the actual tattoos on Chris Jericho, which is great. They also gave him somewhat of his losing his six-pack form here, which he does look a little heavy, as he does on the show, which is a nice touch here. They didn't skip that beat. The sculpting is really nice. Taking a look at his face now. It's Chris Jericho. Sculpting, it looks okay. Face printing tech, I'm not so sure if they're using it right now. I don't know if this is Real FX, as it's called with Mattel's WWE figures, but it's close enough. Looks great. Hair's not wet enough, in my opinion, because this is based off of his interview after the post-match that he had with Hangman Adam Page for the world title, where he was already exhausted, sweating, and he was talking trash about that spread back there. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's really good. Hair's flexible. Doesn't get in the way of your articulation, which we'll look at in just a bit. Here's his belt, which is actually sculpted on. It's not printed on, so you can actually touch the buckle there, which, you know, that feels good, right? Let's take a look at some of the details on his pants here, which we do have like claw marks, which is great. We also have some stitching here on the top, which is very asymmetrical compared to the other side here, which is more claw marks and stitching down here within this silver marking, and that's about it. He does have knee pads, which do not hinder the articulation, which I'm glad. They are individual pieces. You can remove them if you want, but they do not get in the way of the articulation. And then we've got the boots here, which is very dark and hard to see, but trust me, they do have a lot of sculpting going on there. Take a look at the bottom here, and we do have some nice details at the bottom here, with of course the printed details indicating what company made this, what year, and so on. And that's about it. I mean, there's not much else to really show off with Jericho, so let's go through his articulation. He does have a ball joint at the head and a hinge joint at the neck for up and down movement, which is a little difficult because of the hindrance of the hairpiece, but it is what it is. We do have individual universal shoulder joints here that does have some nice clicking, as you can hear. and you can get some full 360 rotation action. You do have your bicep swivel cut, double jointed elbows. We do have rotation at the wrist, which also includes a hinge joint for inward and outward movement, also on a clicking joint. We do have an upper ball jointed torso section, which does allow a lot of flexing. We also have a ball jointed waist section that does allow additional flexing, where it does make up with the fact that there is no ab crunch, which is great. So there's no breaking in the sculpt here because of the lines that would indicate an ab crunch. So that's great. Nice work there. We also have a swivel because it's a ball joint and it's squeaky. Yeah. So anyway, we do have ball joints at the hips. You get this much kicking forward, almost straight. You get that much going back. You can't pull off a full JCVD split, but then again, Chris Jericho couldn't do this anyway. We do have a thigh swivel cut section. We do have double jointed knees, which again is not hindered at the most part when it comes to the knee pads here, which is great. We have a swivel cut above the boot section. We got a hinge joint for up and down movement at the feet. And we do have ankle rocker movement, which is not as good as Marvel Legends, but I'm sure over time it could get better. Right. So anyway, that's about it for Chris Jericho here. There's not much else to go with the figure here in detail. So let's talk about some of his contents that he comes with. Mainly this here. This nice promotional shirt for his A Little Bit of the Bubbly product. Yes, it is Velcro strapped and it is soft goods. You can remove it, as I have already done. Originally in package, the figure would be wearing this, so I've taken it off just to show you his missing six-pack there. And we'll go ahead and put this back on now very carefully, because there's already a rip around one side of this shirt, which was straight out of packaging. I did not do it myself, but you can kind of see it right there, that tiny little hole. It's very dark, but it's right there. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not a perfect set, but then again, no figure will ever be perfect. Let's go ahead and strap it back in place here very easily. And voila. There's Chris Jericho with his shirt. Doesn't look too big on him. Doesn't look too small. Looks perfect. Sometimes it's a hit or miss with wrestling figures when they come with individual shirts or other contents like coats that you can put around the figure. Sometimes it looks too big because maybe it might be hard plastic or something, and sometimes it looks too small. This looks just right on Jericho, which is great. Now let's give him his world title, but before we do, let's show off the first AEW World Champion with his championship here. It looks amazing. This looks straight on, like they replicated it entirely from the actual photos of the World Championship, which I'm sure they did, because there doesn't seem to be any details missing compared to the real deal. And I love the fact that they actually painted it up in that nice chrome metallic reflective gold paint here, which, you know, every title should come as, and I'm hoping we will get more championships with this AEW wrestling figure product soon enough. So we do have some nice highlights of silver here for the A and the W, and then it says AEW, AEW, and those are also individually painted up in silver. Looks great. It looks on par with the real championship. And what reminds me of the old WCW action figures like Smash and Slam from Toy Biz, we do have individual holes here, which indicates that you can put it on different sizes of other wrestling figures if you want. Doesn't have to be AEW figures, because right now there's only one that's available at the moment. But it can also be used for your Mattel WWE figures, or like I said, Smash and Slam if you still have some WCW figures. So you got 4 pegs here, and you've got a selective choice of holes where you can strap it around the waist of a figure, or like what I like to do with it is when I get it pegged into place here, which it can be a little bit of a challenge here, only because the pegs are a very soft rubber material, just like the straps of these belts, but once it's in there, it holds pretty secure. But what I like to do with the belt is like what the real champion does. Just put it around his shoulders and cuff it with his arms. And there you go. There's Chris Jericho, Le Champion, or was the champion. Now it's Jon Moxley at the time of this recording here. Looks great. This is incredible. And we're not even done with this review yet. I mean, we've still got other content. We've got the spread and the table and the cups and the microphone piece, which he would actually have in his hand here. And I'll show that off real quickly. It does say AEW, and in very small words, All Elite Wrestling on all four sides. It's a standard microphone piece. There's not much really to explain about it, so we'll go ahead and put that in Le Champion's hand to make this look more natural, like it's legitly when he was doing the real interview backstage. So we'll go ahead and bring the table here. Take a look at some of the contents that's on it. We've got 2 plastic cups here, which they are molded in yellow, and they do have white stripes going across the top. Little details like this is what blows my freaking mind. That's incredible. You could probably fill these up with water if you want, or any other beverage product that you might actually have. And yes, they are a little bit of a issue to get on the table because they're just small pieces and they like to fly off the second you let them go, because for some reason they always grip to my thumb and they don't want to let go. Anyway, we also have the spread, which is commonly what Chris Jericho was complaining about in that interview. It does have nice snacks here that you could probably make out. Just like, I mean, we got crackers here. We've got slices of pepperoni and ham. We've got, I don't know what that is. Maybe some croissants or something. Melted cheese. And then the olive section here, which is the centerpiece, is removable because originally in package, it is individually packaged like this. And you would just pop that in there to complete the ensemble. There you go. And the last thing we're going to take a look at with everything on the table is the bucket with ice. And in the interview from Ringside Collectibles at Toy Fair, it was mentioned ice would not be included because it would melt. Well, they found a way around it. They actually used plastic to make the ice. And it does look a little cartoony in my opinion, only because it's painted up in a blue. If they had done this in a translucent plastic, you know, just clear plastic, I'm sure this would look more natural. Anyway, other than that, we do have holes here in the ice bucket for your products, which we have champagne with one that's corked and one that isn't. That's the one I like to put in Chris Jericho's hands, which is nice. Oh, also there's one other thing, just because they're the same thing, I'm just going to show it off with one. There is actually a brand product here that is actually slapped on via sticker here. Maybe you can read that, maybe you can't. It is dark here and I do apologize. I'm trying to do the best that I can with this. So yeah, there's that. And we'll go ahead and remove all the contents here because the last thing we're going to look at is this table. It is your standard wrestling table. That's the one thing Wicked Cool Toys have already made mention of. This is a wrestling table. It can be broken via the crack line here, as you can tell, and the 2 tabs right there. So yeah, this table basically in package would be folded up like this, so it's nice that the legs do articulate like they would in real life. And if you're not really impressed with this figure here, you can just throw him for the table, and wow, that backfired very easily. Let's try that again. You just, there we go. Yeah, that's something Jon Moxley would do to Chris Jericho, even though they're not feuding anymore today. But yeah, that is something. It is a breakaway table, and you know how it is with wrestling figures. A good chunk of the time, at least one figure is going to come with a breakaway table, or some playset's going to come with a breakaway table. So you're going to have an army of this stuff to build up. It's, you know, the only limitation is your imagination. I mean, you build them up as high as you can. A tower of tables and just throw your wrestling figures through them is something that'd be really hardcore. That's really awesome. Anyway, that's about it. There's not much else to really say about this set, so I'm going to go ahead and put everything back on the table here so I don't lose anything to the carpet of no return. And I'm going to do some side-by-side comparisons. So unfortunately, I do not have any other wrestling figures at the moment since this line is brand new, but I will show off the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Leo Lost Galaxy Red Ranger figure, and Scarlet from the previously reviewed one-shot deal G.I. Joe Classified series. So as you can see, this figure is a little bigger than what you would expect for a 6-inch scaled action figure, but compared to Leo, he is a teenager with attitude, so it kind of makes sense here. Scarlet, I'm not so sure. Maybe she could be just a little taller, but other than that, that's it. I like this figure. I like this as just a starting point for this whole line so far. This is impressive, and I can't wait to find the Unrivaled Collection Series 1 when they start popping up in stores. They are available to pre-order right now on WrestlingFigures.com if you want. This set is on back order at the moment, but if you feel like you need this set, especially since this is the only way to really get the title, I'll let you go for the Chase figure, which is going to be really hard to find, trust me. You can also back order this set at the moment. So that's going to do it for this review. Thanks very much for watching this, guys. Questions or comments, leave them down below, and I